BJP's newest Member of Parliament, Subramanian Swamy, has raised a stink, writing in fact to the Prime Minister, demanding that RBI Governor Raghuram Rajan be sacked immediately. Now, Swamy has blamed the central bank chief for creating what he calls an economic recession in India at a time when the government is busy painting India as the bright spot in an ailing global economy. Swamy contends that the governor is mentally not fully Indian. In fact, our colleague Supriya Srinate caught up with Subramanian Swamy and asked him some pointed questions on what this rant against Rajan was all about.
Well, I've not talked to the party because it's not a party issue. However, I would believe that PTI has carried the reaction of the party spokesman on economic affairs who has supported my view. It's not a question of party. I said it as an economist. I think he has done us great damage by raising interest rates consistently and coming up with the bogus argument that this is good for containing inflation.
I will just come to inflation and job creation and unemployment in just a bit, but on what basis are you calling him, are you leveling charges of wrecking the economy and being a disruptor? I just interviewed the finance minister a couple of hours back, and he says at an institutional level it's a good relationship, they discuss matters on every issue. I'm a little surprised that the finance minister believes he can work with Rajan and somebody believes he shouldn't be there.
Well, finance minister has to work with him, and he's working with him. That's fine. I mean, there's nothing contradictory to my stand on economic theory. I think this is not going to improve the economy. The economy has not shown any great improvement in basic issues such as unemployment, and I think the reason is directly the sickness in the small and medium industries because of the high interest rates. I also find a lot of people have made money by interest rate arbitrage. People have brought money from abroad and lent it here, and this is not why we want to run a high interest rate economy.
Dr. Swamy, you've been in public life for many years now, and so it is obviously not in my position to say this, but inflation hurts the common man. Inflation hurts the poor the most. Wouldn't you be rather congratulatory for somebody who's trying to rein in inflation? That's point number one. And point number two is, you have said that he allowed the bank NPAs to rise. On the contrary, it was the government of the day that did. They sat on approvals. They did not let the economy take off. There was policy paralysis. Wouldn't you rather blame the UPA than blame the governor here?
Well, I certainly blame the governor if high interest rates produce recession, which is what has happened. You can always have a doctor say, I brought down the temperature of a patient by killing him. Certainly the temperature would come down if he's killed. So that is the issue, and there's been no explanation. I mean, as an economist, I'm telling you, it is in such situations where you have a recessionary situation already looming in the horizon to take what is called as expansionist approach. I don't see any reason why interest rates can't be brought down.
As an economist, you can have a difference of opinion, and I think it's only good for an economy like India if you have a difference of opinion. What baffles a lot of, and we've been flooded with calls on your stand, on the party stand, what baffles a lot of people is that the accusations have been very personal. You've said he's not totally Indian because he holds a green card, he's consciously disrupting and wrecking the Indian economy. At one level, do you believe these accusations have gotten a little personal? You could have perhaps exercised a little bit of restraint?
I'm not saying anything personal. If you have a citizenship, if you're in a process where you're about to take American citizenship, which is what green card means, then you go every year while you are Governor of the Reserve Bank so that your green card doesn't lapse, then I think this is something of public interest. There's nothing personal in it.
But should regulators and should bureaucrats be seen with those glasses, being seen with political affiliations? Because governments will come and governments will go in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. But this is the machinery that is supposed to carry on the executive decisions. Should governors, should bureaucrats be seen with these tinted glasses? Isn't it an unfortunate day that we are leveling charges like these against a governor?
Well, first of all, these are all your words. That basically means you have not read what I have said.
I largely have.
Well, if you have, you won't say that these are charges. These are policy differences which I think he ought to have known if he was a good economist, or that if he is doing it deliberately, despite his knowledge of economics, then I have to bring it to the public notice. He is, after all said and done, an appointee of the former government. I think our government has a right to appoint its own people.
So should all bureaucrats that were appointed by the previous government be removed by this, and the same process carries on when the next government comes to office?
No, he's not a bureaucrat.
I mean regulators as well.
Whatever, yes, regulators definitely. They must conform to the philosophy of our party, economic philosophy. He does not. He is strangulating the economy, and I think therefore he is unfit to be in this post.
Just two last questions, sir. Just to be the devil's advocate, if holding a green card is being any less Indian when the Prime Minister travels overseas and he likes to engage with the Indian community at large, they don't even have Indian citizenship, are they any less Indian? Are we doing the wrong thing by engaging with them?
No, he doesn't. That is not the same thing as holding an office in the government where you have access to all kinds of sensitive information. That is just a rally. I mean, you can have a rally of Americans also. It doesn't mean that the Prime Minister is doing anything wrong. So they are totally in incomparable situations.
Because some people have raised a counter question, and I know I'm going to upset you a little, but I must still ask you. Some people have said that you've taught regularly as an adjunct at Harvard. Does that make you any less Indian? You've taught American citizens, you've taught Indian citizens there. So how is it different?
I have not taught as an adjunct to correct you. I have taught first as an assistant professor, then associate professor, and many, many, many years as visiting professor. So there's not a question of adjunct. I was part of the faculty, and therefore I was part of it. And certainly, when I was there, I wasn't holding any post here. I taught at Harvard. I taught students, and that had no implication because I never held any public office.
Could you have sent a very wrong signal to the investor community? Because we have been flooded, like I said, with calls of people who are wondering what is going to happen to the governor. He has a reputation overseas. He's a great brand ambassador of sorts. People believe he knows his economics. Do you believe at one level investors are a confused lot because of the letter that you've written today?
Well, he can have a very good reputation abroad. Then he should work abroad. In my opinion, he has no reputation in India. And the reputation you're talking about is a veneered Anglo-Saxon elements in our society. I'm surprised that the investors are. On the contrary, I have a large number of telephone calls from investors who say that you said the right thing. Because they don't like these high interest rates. And the people are, particularly those who have invested in small and medium industries, they are really upset.
Mr. Swamy, my last question to you is, you have been lauded by a lot of people for unearthing a lot of scams, for bringing a lot of wrong to book, for bringing a lot of guilty people to the book. But here, do you believe at one level you've got embroiled in a controversy which was at best avoidable, because this includes a man who's in some sense steering the Indian economy with Finance Minister Jaitley at a very tough time like this?
You may be
there are many very global headwinds.
You may be his fan. You see, that doesn't.
I'm not actually. I'm a journalist.
Well, I'm not surprised. You shouldn't say then people think of him as someone who's steering the economy. He's really tanking the economy, and that's the opinion I have as a person who has taught economics, who knows economics, and who's been selected by the Prime Minister to be nominated to Parliament as an economic expert.
Has the Prime Minister spoken to you on this statement?
Why should he speak on this?
Has he responded to your letter so far?
Well, he doesn't need to respond to my letter. He has to act only.
What do you make of Mr. Jaitley's comments when he said that the decision on the governor's term will be irrespective of the noise that has been generated by a letter like this, irrespective of these decisions?
Did he say a letter like this?
I asked him, I said, this letter has been written, and what will be the decision? He said the decision will be taken by the Prime Minister and me, and it will be above all of these things.
Yeah, that is okay. That's fine. That is your spin. That is the problem. It is a spin.
So how do you read the Finance Minister's comment? So how do you read the Finance Minister's comment when he says it is an institutionally mature relationship?
Yes, he has that kind of a situation where he's dealing with him on an institutional basis. I am dealing with the economics of it.
Do you believe you've embarrassed the Finance Minister at one level?
I think you hope that I would.
I'm asking you.
Well, how do I know? He has to say. How would I know whether he's embarrassed by my espousing what the economics should be?
So if you understand Indian economy so well, would you take up the RBI governor's position at any time? Because you say you understand it a lot better, it seems right now.
I do, but it's been over my dignity to be a Reserve Bank governor. I've already turned down the BRICS Bank presidentship. Why should I be a Reserve Bank governor?
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.